and he's going to take a part of Gaza, and China's watching, and they've got the Uyghurs in the detention camps and the re-education camps, and the Russians have the Ukrainian children in the re-education camps. So this is really, really dangerous for the world, no matter how it's resolved.
Yeah, Rob O'Neill, you've been at the sharp end of some of the worst conflicts, wars of the last 25 years. Once again, thank you very much for your extraordinary service, not least in killing bin Laden. What is your overview of where we are here? Trump coming in, obviously.
I've heard this is not true, that this guy claims he kills bin Laden, but his team said that he absolutely was not the guy that shot. I don't know how true or not true it is. But
Going to change the dynamic. He proved in his first term he's not a warmonger. He thinks war, apart from anything else, is just terrible business, that it costs a fortune, the rewards are very low. The other side of that coin is you let a Russian dictator run into a European country, take what he wants, and just let him have it. What's your view?
Well, unfortunately, we're in a position where it doesn't matter why we got here. We're just here. And
stop letting these people say things like, unfortunately. They love dead Ukrainians and captured Ukrainian children and victorious Russia. They love it. Don't ever let them say, I don't know how they get away with this. It's so sad. And unfortunately, the murderous, disgusting American-backed Ukraine has had to unfortunately suffer losses to the noble and heroic and brave downtrodden Russian army. Like, they love it. Don't let them get away with this bullshit fucking framing. They love this shit. They're obsessed with it. It's so cringe and disgusting.
Cenk was mentioning Georgia and Crimea and invasion of Ukraine. That's all weak leadership on the United States. Unfortunately, when we have a strong United States, we have a more stable world most of the time. I mean, we didn't invade Iraq, and I disagree with that, even though I went there. But you're going to have to go to a position of negotiation. I mean, we did say we weren't going to push in NATO further east, and we did. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. We were moving there. Now Ukraine wants...
Why didn't he invade? Oh, well, I guess he did. Because Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, I think they joined NATO in, was it 2022? Or was it, or it might have been the year earlier, 2021? I think they joined, yeah, because it would have been like a year or two. It would have been like a year or two right before the invasion, right? Wait. Oh, maybe just Estonia joined early. When did Oh. Wait. 2004? Well, I thought he just said that. I thought he just said that Russia invaded because. Wait, maybe I misheard him. I'm sorry. I thought he said that Russia invaded Ukraine because Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania joined NATO. Maybe I misheard. Hold on.
I mean, we didn't invade Iraq, and I disagree with that, even though I went there. But you're going to have to go to a position of negotiation. I mean, we did say we weren't going to push in NATO further east, and we did. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. We were moving.
Huh. So it took Russia 20 years to invade because of this? That's the... Huh. Oh, weird. That's so crazy. That was a long...
Moving there, and now Ukraine wants to be a part of NATO, and you know, Russia doesn't want that. And you're dealing with big countries, but you're also dealing with big egos. And Vladimir Putin grew up in a part of Russia where part of the fun was chasing rats with sticks, and he found out what it was like to corner a rat. And that's kind of where he is right now. He's been in charge of Russia since the early 90s. Let's be honest.
I think that when the human body evolves, and you dedicate, like your brain can only do so much. And I think that when you do, I am so sorry. I have nothing but the most respect for people that do the grueling training process to become like special operations special forces in the United States of America. But my God, you are some of the dumbest motherfuckers in the world when you are talking about anything having to do with literally anything. I don't know if the U.S. should have a policy where if you are special forces, you have no freedom of speech afterwards, because they shouldn't be allowed to talk publicly. Like their mouths should be sewn, because they will say consistently the most retarded shit ever. Like I always know that when a guy's like, I used to be special forces, and it really was, I'm about to hear the dumbest, most brain dead take in my entire life. I have no idea. To be fair, probably most of them are chill, and it's just the loud dipshit ones that become popular, but...
Dealing with big countries, but you're also dealing with big egos. And Vladimir Putin grew up in a part of Russia where part of the fun was chasing...
Sorry, hold on. I'm so sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. I don't know how many new fans I have sometimes. Sorry, hold on. When I'm looking at the NATO countries, okay, obviously, there are several rounds of NATO enlargement. The joke that I'm making is people always say that the invasion in Ukraine was a response to NATO expansion, but NATO's been expanding for decades. It's not true that if it was in response to NATO expansion, what were the countries that joined that instigated the invasion of Ukraine? If you followed any of the, I say history, the last 10 years of Ukraine, Russia did not invade Ukraine in response to NATO expansion. They invaded Ukraine when in 2014, the leader that they supported got thrown out of the country. That's why Crimea was invaded. And then they with NATO expansion. That's what happened. Yanukovych fled the country after Euromaidan, and then Russia invaded and took Sevastopol, and then the rest of Crimea. That's what started it. And then they began to fund and then participate in the war in the southeast. None of this has to do with NATO expansion. Like, just stupid.
Rats with sticks. He found out what it was like to corner.
Is it true that the U.S. never made an agreement to not expand NATO eastward? No, that was never the case. It was never the case. And it's only said by people that don't know any history and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's not possible. It's an impossibly stupid fucking statement because it doesn't make any sense. Because when you say, oh, what was the deal? We promised that we wouldn't expand NATO 1 inch eastward. Well, where does that statement come from? Oh, Baker said it. In what year? What year did James Baker say this? Oh, in 1990. Oh, okay, well, yeah, well, that makes sense. That they wouldn't expand eastward in 1990, right? Where the fuck would they have even expanded? What do you think that even means? Do you think there was a promise that NATO wouldn't steal Poland from the Soviet Union's Warsaw Pact? Like, the statement doesn't even make any sense. Like, the 1 inch eastward statement was about German reunification and whether or not Eastern Germany would be militarized. If that was even at all an actual promise. This was a spoken thing, wasn't even written down. There is no treaty, there is no agreement. These documents have all been declassified. You can go and read them here if you want. But the statement that Baker made had to do with whether or not East Germany would be militarized if German reunification happened. The idea that there were promises not to expand NATO eastward doesn't even make sense when expanding them eastward would have meant capturing Warsaw Pact countries. It doesn't even...
a rat. And that's kind of where he is right now. He's been in charge of Russia since the early 90s, let's be honest. And he wants to save face with his people. He's lowering the conscription age to get people in to fight. It's like he's not going to back out, but you can't let him take more. I'm by no means defending him, but I also think that Volodymyr Zelensky is a puppet, and he's laundering money just like most people in Washington, Ukraine. That's why the whole argument in Ukraine is how much money people can personally make in Ukraine. I hopefully think that Donald Trump brings a big stick. Also, he doesn't care about embezzling money like the United States is now, and whatever they're doing. But it's not a good situation. But we definitely need to turn. We need a land solidarity, which we lost by leaving.
I might be stupid, but why didn't we support Ukraine in 2014? When Russia initially invaded, because of the Budapest Memorandum. First of all, the Budapest Memorandum was not like a promise security guarantee. It was like a good faith, but I mean, like, it's not like an agreement to come to your aid. The reason why we didn't is because Obama's foreign policy was meh, because we were so soyed out from the Iraq War that we didn't want to do fucking anything internationally.
Leaving Afghanistan the way we did, and forward defense. Right now, our Navy, which is the epitome of our forward defense, is under the Biden administration is worrying about getting more transgender bathrooms and getting green ships, even though they're all nuclear, which is green. There needs to be some adults in the room and talk reality, because here's where we are. Ships defenses under the Biden administration is worrying about getting more transgender bathrooms and getting green ships, even though they're all nuclear, which is green. There needs to be some adults in the room and talk reality, because here's where we are, and someone needs to come to the table and talk to someone else, not worried about how much jewelry Mrs. Zelensky could buy in New York on the taxpayer's dime.
Right.
It's just... Okay.
And how popular is Volodymyr Zelensky now with Ukrainian people, do you think?
I'd say pretty popular still. Most people consider him a pretty good representative of Ukrainian people and what we want. And pretty disheartening, I'd say, to hear what people say here, but I'm used to it. Surprisingly, Chink, I agree with in the sense that we can't allow Russia to continue get away with what they're doing, because that's what they have been doing, in particular with annexation of Georgian territory and Moldova and Ukraine in 14 and now in 22 full-scale invasion. And nothing stops them then from fully invading Moldova or Georgia. They are already doing all they can to select people there as presidents and meddle in their elections quite strongly already. And if they can't do it with just hybrid methods of sabotaging the elections and making people basically install their puppets there, then they do sort of like a blackmail. Then they do threats, and then they do annexation, invasion, terror, death, and all that we are having right now in Ukraine. And that's not.
And how would you describe? And how would you describe the mood of the Ukrainian people? When I was there, like I say 2 years ago, to a man and woman, whatever age that I met, there was this steely resolve of we've got to win this at all costs. But the cost has been...
The Zelensky wife jewelry talking point he just mentioned is actual manufactured Russian propaganda. Oh yeah, yeah, shit. I'm sorry. I should. Yeah, there's a lot of like weird, stupid rumors about so many people. Oh my god. The Macron trans wife thing is also... God, bro, get these people out of my country. Can we just ship Candace Owens over to fucking Russia? Can we ship these guys back to... Oh, why are these people in my country?
Elena Zelenska, Ukraine's First Lady, has a taste for the good life and is using foreign aid to fund it. Also, Ukraine's enemies would have you believe. In September 2023, as President Zelensky visited the United Nations headquarters seeking more arms for Ukraine,
evil cannot be trusted.
A story about his wife started to spread on social media.
The wife of Zelensky spends $1 million on Cartier jewelry in New York.
And they were over the United States begging for billions of more dollars.
They're paying us back with our own money.
How did this lie spread so quickly? And what does it reveal about Russia's disinformation war against the West?
Where's the outrage about this?
It all leads back to one Instagram video.
I don't know what she said to him, but the next day I got fired. What the fuck?
This woman claims to be an intern at Cartier in New York. She alleges Zelenska spent over $1 million on jewelry and holds up a receipt as proof. But look more closely. The receipt is dated 22nd of September, when Zelenska wasn't even in the country. Despite this red flag, the story is picked up by an online French-language magazine in Burkina Faso called Net Afrique. Its article uses screenshots of the Instagram video as evidence. But the piece actually links to a video on YouTube posted by an anonymous user. The Cartier intern is the account's only upload,
President of Ukraine.
and the original Instagram profile is now private. Other news sites across Africa pick up the story within hours. The first account in English is in The Nation, a Nigerian newspaper, but it's been planted. That doesn't stop it from being picked up on social media, where users can't tell that it's been paid for, and may mistake it for a well-known American magazine which shares the same name. The first post on X is from a suspicious account. All 309 of Woke Martin's followers are newly created profiles with no activity. And its early posts are all about Zelensky's spending spree. It starts spamming right-leaning influencers with the Nation's article, and one of them takes the bait. Others follow, including Tara Reid, a former US Senate staffer who defected to Russia in 2023. By the time Russian
Remember her? The Biden accuser? Huh, crazy. Huh. Isn't that crazy how that worked? I like how that's how they talk about her too. Oh, just a former staffer. That was the woman who accused Biden of raping her with his fingers like 50 years ago.
media report on the story, it's already being shared almost 1,000 times an hour in English on X alone. Mission accomplished. This is a successful example of a new pattern in Russia's disinformation war. Researchers at Clemson University tracked how it works. Once the original source has been carefully planted, a trail is orchestrated to multiple publications. Experts call this layering. This tactic makes the story seem more credible, more likely to go viral, and undermine support for Ukraine. Since the story spread, facial recognition has revealed the Cartier intern is most likely a beautician, based in Russia.
I hadn't heard that last part. Do you think the US has as elaborate a misinformation scheme in other countries like Russia and China as they do here, or is it more difficult because of how open we allow our internet to be? I don't think anybody allows their media to operate in the way we do. I don't know if we could do this type of propaganda in the places that we'd want to, right? Like in Germany or France maybe, but like in Russia, I seriously doubt there's misinformation that's this sophisticated. I'm sure we do a little bit. I mean, I know there's been reports of some, but not at this level. Somebody said you should read this. We went over this on stream. The disinformation, how it propagates from like one to the next.
Enormous. You know, so many cities just destroyed, so many people killed, all these children being taken and so on. Is there a mood now in the country that they just want peace, just want a deal, even if it means surrendering the territory that's been taken?
Well, nobody wants peace more than us. I live in a city that is bombed every day. You know, my father has been killed. So, of course, we want peace. But that depends on what that peace is. Because nobody wants peace without any sort of justice, right? And that is the problem. Because we have to consider our now, obviously, right? Even if the fire stops. So, let's say my city stops being bombed every day. That's a bonus for me, obviously, right? And for my family and for my friends. But how important is that bonus? Because it's a temporarily bonus. We have to think about the future, that other people, other generations are not going to go through the exact same things we went through. And that's quite important to most Ukrainians. But the mood, of course, have been solid. As you said, people were more enthusiastic before, specifically because of the, I would say, lack of care and lack of commitment from our allies. Particularly the incredible amount of limitations on our long-range strikes. For example, as you know, UK actually gave us the long-range missiles, Storm Shadows, I believe they're called, and we couldn't really use them because of the limitations that were given to us, primarily by United States and by Biden, by the way, his administration at least. So in that sense, there has been a sort of demoralizing effect, of course, because of the lack of aid, inconsistent aid from both United States and also European countries as well. And it's hard to sustain that sort of like, I'd say, hopefulness and will when you are not confident that you will have means to fight with properly.
Yes,
And that, I would say, dampen the mood. Yeah,
I understand that. Scott, you know, a lot of people have come on this show since this war started, and they made the argument, which I know that you subscribe to, which is effectively the West and Ukraine goaded Russia into doing this by continually pushing for NATO membership, for NATO encroachment, and so on, as the Russians saw it. There's another school of thought that this could have been resolved diplomatically. That actually, yeah, you can take that argument, you can see there's merit to that argument, certainly to a degree, but it doesn't just